welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. My name is Rain. In this series, Christmas Party, we paint and draw everything that has to do with Christmas and the holidays. So let's have some fun. Today I'm going to show you how to draw this cute little snowman. So let's begin. This is what you'll need for today's drawing lesson. You're going to need a piece of paper or a drawing pad. This is a dollar store drawing pad and it's 8.5 by 11 inches wide. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, and if you have a paintbrush that you've not used for painting, I got this at the dollar store, it's really great to brush away dust and eraser bits. And of course we're going to need some color for our snowman. We're going to use yellow and black for his hat. He's got an orange carrot nose. You'll need red for his scarf, brown for his arms that are made from twigs, and we've got a very light blue that we'll use for some shading on the snow. Now, I personally like to outline all of my drawings with a black fine tip marker. Fine tip just means that it's a thin, small tip. That's optional, you don't need that, but if you have one, you can take that out too. So why don't we begin? Let's draw our snowman. Let me get all the dust off my page. You might hear some meowing or dogs snoring in the background. My dogs are both sleeping right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the snowman. Why don't we just put a line at the bottom of our page, just a little kind of squiggly line, just so we know where the snow is down there. And then on top of that, watch what I do. I'm going to draw a big kind of semicircle. That's going to be the bottom of the snowman. My circles are always lopsided. And then we're going to draw his body, which is going to be another circle going into that bottom circle. And then his head, which is a smaller circle going into that middle circle. And we're going to erase some things, so don't worry how it looks right now, okay? So then we're going to draw his hat right away. Now watch what I'm doing. In the circle, about from the top of the circle here, I'm going to draw kind of a hot dog looking shape. That's the top of his hat. Or the brim of his hat, I should say. And then on top of the brim, we'll draw just a bit of a rectangle. And that's his hat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to erase a little bit. I'm going to fix this up. I don't like the way I did my lopsided circle here, so I'm just going to fix that up a little bit. And I'm going to erase. Now what I want you to erase, let's look at the head first. Everything that's in this bottom part of the circle here, I want you to erase that line. And if you accidentally erase some of the pencil marks that you want to keep, all you have to do is draw them back in. Like I did here. I'm just going to draw it back in. Let me erase. I made a little bit of a mistake there. You're going to have to pardon my voice today, my friends. I'm just getting over a little cold, and my voice is a little raw. Okay, now everything that's in the brim of his hat, I want you to erase. So the top of the circle, I want you to erase that. And again, if you accidentally erase part of the hat or part of his head, just draw it right back in. I did that. I erased almost the whole thing. There we go. And while we're here, why don't we just give him a ribbon on his hat? So just on the top of the brim here, I'm just going to draw a line right across. So he's got a nice little ribbon. I erased part of his body too. Okay, and the last little bit that you're going to erase is this bottom circle here. And I'm going to just erase the mistake that I made here. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to erase this and redo it actually. There we go. I want my snowman to look more or less even. And I'll just redraw in the line that I erased. There. So we have our snowman outlined. What we'll do now is we'll give him a scarf. So for the scarf, we're just going to draw a line right here in the same shape of the bottom of his head here. Just a line like that. And now the bottom of the scarf. Actually, we are going to have to erase one more thing, but watch what I do. From the edge here, I'm just going to bring a line right down, give him a little frill at the end, and then right up. So that's his scarf. And we're going to have to erase that little line in the scarf. So why don't we go ahead and do that right now while we're here. And again, if you erase the scarf, just go ahead and draw it right back in. There we go. Okay, let's work on his face. The first thing we're going to do is give him some round eyes. Okay, so 2 round eyes. Like that. And maybe another round circle in each eye. We'll be coloring those in black, I think. Now we have to draw his carrot nose, and it's just a triangle kind of on the side, watch. A long triangle like this, and that's it. That's going to be his carrot nose. And for his mouth, we'll draw little circles, watch. We're going to draw little circles in the shape of a smile, and those little circles, we'll color those in black after. Okay? Now he needs some arms, and usually when we build a snowman, we try to find some twigs or branches to make arms. So let's just draw some twiggies. Just little thin twig arms. You can put as many little edges or fingers as you want. Okay, so the last thing we'll do is we'll draw some buttons on him. And the buttons, actually, you know something, my friends? I made a mistake. I did make a mistake, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. Wow, I made a mistake. Remember we erased the bottom of his body here? Let's go ahead and put that right back in. I made that mistake, but not through the scarf, just around the scarf like that. And we're going to erase this line. I erased the wrong line. So there you go. Nobody's perfect, and we don't want to be perfect. We just want to have a little bit of fun here. Because, you know, I just realized his buttons have to go on the part of his body there, and there wasn't enough room, and I was asking myself, why isn't there enough room? Because I erased the wrong line. I hope that didn't confuse you too much. So let's draw 3 buttons. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so he's all drawn in. Why don't we start to give him a little bit of color? Let's start with the yellow, and we're going to color in the ribbon of his hat yellow. You can do this with markers if you want, but if you're using coloring pencils, I want you to make sure not to press down too hard, and don't forget to turn your pencil as you're going, because you don't want to wear it down all on one side. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in a second layer, and all that means is that I'm coloring it in a second time, because the more you color it in, the more color you add to your page, and the nicer it looks, the brighter it looks, or if it's a black, the darker it looks. So we always put in a few layers so that we don't have to press down really hard. Okay? There's a nice bright yellow. Now I'm going to take my orange color and color in his nose. Same thing, not pressing down too hard, and I'm turning my pencil once in a while. And I want that orange to be a little brighter, so I'm going to go and apply a second layer. A second layer just means I'm coloring it in twice. And if you want, you can put in a third layer or a fourth layer, or you might be happy with one layer. It's all up to you. This is your drawing. Why don't we take our brown color now and let's color in his twig arms. Try not to get any brown onto his body because we want that to stay more or less white. Remember to turn your pencil once in a while. And if you want, you can go ahead and put a second layer in right away. Don't press down too hard. You don't want to break the tip of your pencil either. And I'm going to go ahead and start doing his other twig arm. And I'm turning my pencil once in a while, and I'm going to apply a second layer. Wow, one of my dogs is snoring very loudly. He's lying in the sun, so he's very warm and he's completely out. He's sleeping. That's my hound dog, Jack. Some of you guys know who my hound dog is. There we go. Brush that dust off. So now let's take our red color and let's go ahead and color in the whole scarf. This area here and this area here. Let's color all that in red. But let's be careful not to get any red outside of the scarf into the snow, because the snow is white and we want it to stay white if possible. But if you do get some red into the white, don't even worry about it because we're having fun here. But I'm trying to teach you to pay attention to detail when you're drawing and coloring, and take your time so that you enjoy yourself. So just try not to get any red into the rest of the snowman. And don't forget to turn that pencil. And don't press down too hard. Is it snowing where you are? It's December now, and it's winter here where I live in Canada. We have a little bit of snow, but not too much. I live more, I guess, in the southern area of Canada, in New Brunswick. And we don't get too much snow until really the end of December. We have a little bit, but it doesn't stick around too much. In the daytime, when the sun comes out, it melts. So I haven't had a chance to build a snowman yet this year, but I will. No matter how old I get, I will always build a snowman. Now at the end, you can just make it kind of like this, you know? It doesn't have to be perfect. Just want it to look like he's got little strings coming out of his scarf there. Now I'm going to go and apply a second layer, coloring it in a second time. And I'm turning my pencil once in a while too. Now you can see the difference right away between one layer and two layers. See that red? It's much more vibrant. Sometimes it's hard to see the difference when you're doing small little areas, but when you do a big area, you really can see a difference between how many layers you put in. And you'll know if you're putting in 2 layers or 3 or 4 that you don't have to press down hard at all to get all of that color onto your page. Because when you press down hard, you can break the tip, or your hand will start hurting, and you don't want your hand to hurt. We want to have fun while we're drawing. And it's fun to draw snowmen at this time of year. There are some people where it's summertime for them right now. People who live in Australia. They're in another part of the world where they get summer when we have winter, and when we have summer, they have winter. It's the opposite. There we go. A nice bright red scarf for our snowman. Now I'm going to take my black and I'm going to color in the top of his hat and the brim of his hat. Okay? And I'm definitely going to be putting in a second layer. But I'm just going to be careful not to get any of that black into the yellow. He's got a big old hat on today. If you build snowmen, do you put hats on them? I don't put hats on them anymore. I mean, I put, toques, little knitted hats. I wouldn't put a hat like this on them because it would probably blow off. But this reminds me of Frosty the Snowman. Don't forget to turn your pencil. Do you watch Frosty the Snowman every year around Christmas time? It always comes on TV, and I'm sure you could find it on YouTube, on the internet. I love that story of Frosty the Snowman coming to life. All right, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put on a second layer. Second layer is going to make that black much darker. Okay, just try not to get any black into the yellow. And I'm just going to go over it a third time just to make sure I got everything. I'm turning my pencil. You see there's a big difference. 2 layers is much darker. So I'm going to go ahead and put another layer on the bottom here on his brim, the brim of his hat. I like to wear hats. I have a lot of hats. Don't have one that looks like this though. Mine are usually, they look more like Western hats, cowboy hats. Those are the ones that I like the most. And I have some actually that are from Australia. They're called Outback hats. And those are really nice too. Some of my favorite hats are the Outback hats. But I wouldn't give my snowman my Outback hat. I wouldn't want to lose it. All right, there we go. Now, for now, we're going to just put the black away. And we're going to take our light blue color. And we're just going to add a little bit of very, very light shading. very, very light around this side here. Not the whole snowman, just a little bit around the edge. And a little bit around this edge too. One layer only, because we don't want it to be dark. We just want to give the snowman a little bit of shadow so it looks like snow. And we'll do that here too, and here too. Just very lightly around the edge. And you can make it as thin or as thick as you want. And I'm going to bring that shading all the way down here, just like that. And then under, you see what I'm doing? I'm over the line here, and then I'm going under the line here. And then a little bit on this side. All right? And I'm going to do the same thing here. I just turned my pencil, and I'm giving this a light layer of blue just around the edge of the snowman. And down here too on this side. All right. See, instead of it being the same color, white, 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 we just give a little bit of shadowing here so it looks like snow. And we can just do the same thing under here. All of this is snow, so let's color in a little bit of snow under here. And turn your pencil. Just follow that line that you drew at the beginning. Just put a little bit of blue color under there. And we're just doing one layer here because we want it to look nice and light. Okay? And that's that. Can you see well here? Let me move this up a little bit. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm taking my black fine liner marker. You can use any marker, or if you don't have a marker, you can use your black coloring pencil. Just make sure it's a little sharper than this one, because we're going to color in all of the buttons and the round things, and we're going to outline. So the first thing I'm going to do is outline his eyes. Everywhere that I drew pencil, I'm outlining his eyes with the marker. Now, you don't have to do this. I just really like the way it looks, so that's why I do it. All right, and I'm going to color in his pupils, the little bitty circles inside his eyes. Let's color that in black. Use your marker or your coloring pencil to do this. Okay, he's got big bright eyes. Now I'm going to outline his nose, the carrot nose. And I'm going to put just a little bit of detail there so it does look like a carrot. Watch, just a few little semicircles there. And all those dots and the buttons, I'm coloring those in black. Okay? So like I said, if you have a marker, you can use a marker. If not, use your black coloring pencil or your crayon if you're using crayons. Just make sure you get each one of those colored in. There. He's a happy snowman. Now if you want, you can do this. I'm going to give him a cheek, which is just a little semicircle there. That just makes it look like he has a cheek. So now let's color in the buttons. Same thing, just color them in black. If you have a marker, use your marker. If not, use your coloring pencil or your crayon. There we go. I think he's looking pretty good. Now this is optional. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to outline the whole thing. Basically, I'm outlining the whole thing because I want to. But you don't have to if you don't want to. You can stop right there or outline part of it. You don't have to outline the whole thing. But this is a very good practice for detail work. It forces you to pay attention to what you're doing and try to be accurate. It also forces you to be patient and not rush, which is a very good thing. All right, how you guys doing? I don't want to talk to you too much because I want you to concentrate. I have to concentrate too, or else I can't do two things at once. Now, if you are outlining and you're outlining the scarf, you can just put a few little black marks down there, okay? And I just want to show you something. You may not be able to see it, but when I outlined my scarf, I went down a little too far, and you can see some white. So if you do that, just take your color and color it in, and that way you kind of hide your mistake a little bit. All right? Easy as pie. I'm not going to do his arms. I think his arms are okay. But I'm just going to go and do the rest of the snowman's body. There. And I'm going to draw that line in that I put down here for the snow. There. All right. I'm just going to erase a little pencil mark that I have here. There we go. That's just me being picky. So what do you think, guys? How do you like your snowman? I hope you're proud of what you did, and remember, always sign your work. I really want you to take ownership of the beautiful drawing that you did today. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, my friends, and remember to Mom and Dad, if you post your kids' art on Instagram, don't forget to tag me. The link is in the description below and in the About section of my channel. So we'll see you next time on Christmas Party. Thanks for watching. Bye.